Congressman Eric Swalwell doesn't have tact, class, or self-awareness, but he does have the audacity to out-a-hole himself with each passing week. This episode of the Swalwell saga features the California congressman comparing his fellow Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to the Highland Park mass shooter. Yeah, it's time for final thoughts. The country is still reeling from the tragedy in Highland Park, Illinois, wherein 7 people lost their lives, dozens were injured, and 1 little boy was left an orphan, all while attempting to celebrate our great nation and its independence. And yes, no doubt one of the things that makes our nation great is the First Amendment, free speech and expression. But sadly, some people abuse that sacred right and use it to be an insensitive jackass. In case you haven't figured it out yet, that person is Congressman Eric Swalwell. Here he is comparing Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to the shooter who sniped 7 people from a rooftop during the 4th of July parade in Highland Park on Monday. Of all the disgusting ways to politicize a tragedy, divide the nation, and offer up some partisan BS, this has to be the worst I've seen, certainly from an elected representative. To suggest that law-abiding and responsible gun owner and United States Representative Lauren Boebert is akin to or inspired the parade shooter is on a scum level of its own, and that's not a compliment, though Eric Swalwell is so distasteful he probably will take it as one. Congresswoman Boebert, a friend of this show, responded to Slimeball Swalwell saying, quote, "Eric Swalwell isn't a fan of our constitutional rights and is desperate to distract from his repeated political failures. But the only straight line that needs to be drawn is from Eric Swalwell to Fang Fang to the Chinese Communist Party." She is, of course, referring to Swalwell's alleged yet documented relationship with Chinese spy Fang Fang. When it comes to threats to national security, Swalwell could write a book. This kind of shock jock behavior is typical for Swalwell. He's a failed presidential candidate, and besides being famous for Fang Fang and allegedly farting on national TV during an interview, he hasn't accomplished much. His Twitter fingers are active, though. Just a couple of weeks ago, he typed out this little nugget of BS. It's clear Eric is thirsty for attention and relevance, but to compare a congresswoman to a mass shooter is lower than low. California's 15th district must be so proud. And those are my final thoughts from Nashville. God bless and take care.